Hello and welcome back to Reading with Mo. Today I'm going to share with you guys the books that I'm going to try and attempt to read in the month of July. I have a few books that I have like partially read from June that I'm be carrying over to this month, so I'll show you guys those ones probably first. As well as some other books I'm gonna maybe roll over from last month I'm kind of thinking about. So let's just get straight into them. So the first three are books that I am halfway into as of this moment, or roughly about half of the way into. The first one is Heretics of Dune, book 5 in the Dune series by Frank Herbert. This one, yeah, I'm about halfway through. It helped me to get through it because this is such a long book. It's about almost 700 pages, so it's taken me a long time to read, but I am enjoying it so far. I feel like I have been using the audiobooks to kind of help me keep on track and to help me get through it a little bit faster. Then the only other book I believe in this pile that's part of a series is Fool's Fate by Hobb. This is book 3 in the Tawny Man trilogy. I believe I'll be halfway through this series once I finally finish this book. It's an epic fantasy series, and this is the conclusion of the third book in the Tawny Man trilogy. I'm a little over halfway into this one, and it's another chunky one. This one is like almost 800 pages, so these books have been taking me a long time to read. And I just haven't really had a lot of time to sit down for long periods of time and read, and like I haven't had the attention span lately to sit down for more than like 15 minutes of time to read, so these are taking a long time to get through. And then the other one is a historical fiction novel. It's Moth by Melody Razak. This one I'm only about a quarter of the way into. I'm not really sure how I feel about it so far. This book takes place in India in 1946. And we're following a young girl who is being put into this arranged marriage kind of right around the time when the partition is happening. So her parents hope that her being married will kind of help protect her during this like turbulent political time. But I don't know, something about the writing just isn't really gelling with me, so it's also taken me a while to get through this one, but I do want to finish this book and see where it goes before I give my final thoughts on it. So now we're on to the rest of the books that I'm wanting to try and get into for the month of July. The first one was actually kindly sent to me by one of you guys, and that is a graphic novel. It is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, adapted and illustrated by Fred Fordham. This was kindly sent to me from Chris Coaches, I hope I said the name right, off my Amazon wishlist, and I wanted to send a thank you note back, but I accidentally lost the little QR barcode, so thank you very much for sending this to me. I did want to prioritize it and get to it soon, so I'm going to hopefully be getting to it this month. I'll show you guys, this is kind of what the illustration style looks like. I know I read To Kill a Mockingbird like forever ago, so I do remember like kind of the basic premise of the story, but yeah, I haven't read the graphic novel yet, so I'm excited to get into this one. Next we have a book I randomly picked up at Goodwill the other day, and that is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafon. This book I have been wanting to get to for a long time. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and so I'm really excited. I don't really want to know too much going into it. Like I do know like it has something to do with like this book the main character has found, and someone's like destroying all the copies of it or something like that. Maybe it has like a book in a book type of story. I don't really know. I just know I want to get to it. I believe, I could be wrong, but there might be an adaptation of this coming out soon that was announced, but I'll have to look that up to see if I'm remembering that right. I do have a pretty ambitious pile of books I'm trying to get to for July, and I think I will be able to get through a good amount of these, because like that one, three of them I'm already halfway into, and then I have a couple that are graphic novels, so I'm going to try and get into Glass Town, The Imaginary World of the Brontes by Isabel Greenberg. This is a reimagining of the famous Bronte writers as children, and I believe some of it is also based off of like things that they talked about from their childhood and imaginative stories that they came up with. I picked this book off of my black shelf on my bookshelf, where I'm trying to read as much as I can this month of books with black spines on them. So this is from that shelf, as well as the next few books that I'm going to show you guys. They're also from the same shelf. We have a nonfiction book, and that's Why She Wrote, a graphic history of the lives, inspiration, and influence behind the pens of classic women writers by Lauren Burke and Hannah K. Chapman, illustrated by Kaylee Bales. And so this is the illustration style on this book. And this just goes into some famous women writers in nonfiction graphic novel form. Then we have a classic, and that is Quicksand by Nella Larson. I've only previously read Passing by Nella Larson, and I remember really enjoying that book. I don't really even know what this one is about. It looks like this one is about a white mother and an absent black father. Scorned for her dark skin, Helga Crane has long had to fend for herself. As a young woman, Helga teaches at an all-black school in the South, but even here she feels different. Moving to Harlem and eventually to Denmark, she attempts to carve out a comfortable life and place for herself. So I'm really hoping that I do enjoy this one. And then we have another nonfiction book that is Disfigured on Fairy Tales, Disability, and Making Space by Amanda Ludluck. This book is all about fairy tales and kind of how they have influenced our view on specifically with disabilities and with disabled characters, how they are treated in fairy tales. So I'm really interested to see what this book has to say. Then we have Someone at a Distance by Dorothy Whipple. I really love the cover on this one. This will be my first time reading anything by this author as well as anything from Persephone Classics, so I'm hoping I really do enjoy this so then I can buy some other books from the author and from the publisher as well. Well, even if I don't like it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy other books from this publisher. So we're following Avery North, who's been married to Ellen for 20 years. They have 2 kids. They live outside London. His mom advertises for a companion, a French girl who arrives and sets her sights on Avery and threatens their happy marriage. Then I have a few books that I'm not really sure if I'm going to get to, but I would like to. They were books that I had wanted to read in June, but I did not get to. We have a short story collection, New Sons, original speculative fiction by people of color, and then Miss Chloe, A Literary Friendship with Toni Morrison by A.J. Verdell. This one is a non-fiction book about the author and talking about her friendship with Toni Morrison. I actually just got the audiobook from my library for this, so I'm pretty sure I'll get to reading or listening to it during July. And then we have African Europeans, which is another non-fiction book about African European history, and this one is written by Olivette Hotel. So yeah, those are 3 I would like to get to, but they're not like super high priority, but I feel like I'll probably get to at least 1 or 2 of those. And then lastly, as if that was all not enough, I have the books that are on my Libby app. I have a few audiobooks that I have checked out through there. I'm on hold for a few things that'll probably come in soon, but as far as what I like for sure have checked out, so I know I'm going to be at least attempting to listen to it during July before my holds are turned back into the library. I already mentioned before the audiobook for Heretics of Dune and Miss Chloe, but I also have the audiobook for One of the Girls by Lucy Clark. This one is I think it's like a girls getaway mystery thriller setup. And then we have Elsewhere by Alexis Scheidtken. I think this one is a fantasy novel, and if I'm remembering right, like the mothers that live in this area, they somehow like disappear mysteriously and nobody knows what happens to them. And then I literally just now got a copy of the audiobook The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. So for sure that's like jumping up to the top of my priority list because I've really been wanting to check out Riley Sager's newest. This one is a mystery thriller that's set, I think it's kind of along the lines of one of those really basic tropes of the woman, unreliable narrator who is watching this family across the lake that lives there, and something happens with the wife, and I don't know. I hope it's good, but I feel like this is just something that's been done so many times that unless there's something new or fresh on this take of this familiar trope, it's gonna fall a little flat. But I do want to check it out for myself so I can make my own opinion. So those are all the books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of July. Very ambitious, I know, but I mean, I'll be happy honestly with whatever I get to, and I like having a lot of options to read. That way I don't get into any reading slumps or anything. But that's it for today. Let me know what you guys are planning on reading in July, or your thoughts if you've read any of these books that I mentioned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!